Welcome back. Did you have a good lunch? Good. I'm very happy to talk after lunch. You know why? Because they say the only way to stay awake during an after-lunch speech is to deliver it. And the best definition I heard about what is a professor, they say a professor is somebody who speaks when other people sleep. So today, this section, I am going to address two topics based on the background that I presented earlier. We set the stage actually for how to change, how to improve. So in the first part of my presentation, I will talk about the half-double project, what is my perspective. We spent yesterday the whole day to talk about it with the team, and we went into very high depths, so I'll give you a very high-level overview, but I'll give you the major impression, and I think the major impression, okay, no, we gotta find another place. It's not from the beginning. Okay, go to the slide where it says the questions. Right? So, I'm going to start by saying that it is a system that is working. That is the good thing about it. Okay? And I was very impressed because in a short time you have shown something that is really good and creating value. So I will actually try to break it down in some impressions, and I was quite open with the team and I told them my impressions, so I want to share with you my general overview. Okay? Overall, it's the step in the right direction. There's no question about it. And I've been waiting for other people to join me and my team and my colleagues in this direction. The world is huge. We can find many, many ways to improve. There's not only one best way, and I'm coming to this project. It's the correct concept, first of all, and I support the elements of the methods. So these are the three major points that are on the background of what I think about it. And that's why I came here very, very hopeful and open to really help, and happy to be part of it. But we have to remember it's still new. We cannot deny it. And like everything new is still experimental in a way. And I just want to say one warning word, there's no magic bullet, there's no perfect solution, there's no one best way, never been, never will be, and all of us have to realize this. And we have to look at it with hope, with optimism, but yet with, critical eyes and say, good, maybe we need to go on, to fix things, etc. Okay. And I think it will change. It's not the end. It's not this story of the next methodology of project management. And there are a lot of open questions still. We shouldn't deny them. For example, does this fit all kinds of projects everywhere in the world? I don't have an answer. I don't know. It needs proofs. It needs to be part of a discussion. Okay, so let me go into more specifics. Okay, the major components, I like the ideas of the three components. The impact is the most critical, the most important idea because we work on projects to deliver value. And it doesn't matter how you call it impact, I call it value, it's the same thing. In another sense, I'll show you in a minute, I call it business success. What's wrong in admitting we're working for business success? But once you identify the major objective of this as impact, it's good. It's good. We've got to go into the elements, and I will do it in a minute, but that is what drives the whole method. The flow idea, I must say, really impressed me. It's a very Scandinavian thing, by the way. It is the collaboration, the people, the flow. we've been struggling with this for a long time, because you got to make projects move on, dynamic. And by bringing it up to a level of awareness, one of the major components of what we do is flow, you're doing the right thing. So I totally support the idea of flow, and I can see that it is being done in your way, which is collaboration, which is sharing, which is fantastic. I am curious to see how it works in other cultures, but the idea should stay the same. Flow, flow, flow. Project should flow forward. Now, the subcomponents may change, as I said, but this is great. The leadership is also very Scandinavian. And I want to say a but here. There's more to leadership. I'll show you later how I address the question of leadership, and there's more to leadership. So that concept, I believe, needs more work. Again, important element in this world. Leaders make things happen. Leaders make things happen, not leadership. The difference, leadership is a system, not a system. It's people, people who lead. And we need to create these leaders. And I will discuss it later, but again, leadership is a very, very important concept. So the three elements, for me, works. Okay, now I want to talk about specific elements and my reaction. Co-location. I love the idea of co-location. It's not new. It's nothing here that hasn't been said before. Co-location works. When you're able to bring all the teams together, 60%, 50%, it doesn't matter. Bring people to work together in the same room, magic happens. So you didn't invent here any new wheel here. But emphasizing look for co-location is a good idea, but it's not always possible. You know, I've been working on projects that are all over the world, in India, in China, with our team. Co-location. What does it mean, co-location? On the same screen. So that's not always possible. So making it a real a condition is not possible. So we have to remember that. But co-location is a good idea. Written, I like the word. It sounds good, it sounds right, it's timely. But again, it expands the concept of agility. Again, it's not new, but I prefer rhythm to agility. You know, because agility is not a common word. It's not a word that we use in the daily language. Agile, I don't use the word except for project management. But written, yes, boom, 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 boom. Good. Okay, but it's not new. It is the idea of sprints, etc. Excellent. All right? Visualization, once again, not a new idea. But by putting it as a condition in the framework is a good idea, which means, okay, you communicate, give me a visual. You want to tell me a story, create a visual. With this policy in mind, there's a book years ago said Visualizing Project Management. I've seen many projects that don't use visualization. There's a big difference. So, go ahead, visualize everything. And this will work and expand and, be creative. Visualization can be very, very creative. Okay. Leadership. Here's where I have a little hesitation. I said it's your way, collaboration, but I said already more. Now, for me, leadership is much, much, much bigger. The leaders make, forget everything. Forget everything. If you have a great leader, he or she will make things work. You don't need a framework. You don't need a methodology. You don't need a plan. I've seen a huge project managed by a great leader with little post-it notes for himself. Everywhere he went. The project was, and he replaced a failing project man. He brought the project to life, went into production. Fantastic. So that's the leaders. And this is something that we need to expand. Okay? I'll show you what I mean by leaders. Collaboration and more, this is key for the future. Now, you have put the customization inside leadership, and I would take it out, and I will show you what I mean in my coming presentation. I think it shouldn't be there, because it's people before systems. That's how it all starts. I agree with this concept, fantastic. But remember, in complex projects, you need systems. You cannot manage a complex project. You can manage a small project without a system, but you cannot manage. And when you say, all right, the people will figure it out, in complex situations, it doesn't work. And the situation that I mentioned before. Okay? And the impact case has the planning and tracking there and the pulse check, which is good. I would continue working on this concept further. I looked at the stations here. I was quite impressed by the intentions, by the ideas, but it requires some more work. Okay? So that's very briefly my opinion about the half-double methodology. I encourage you to continue. I'm very supportive of what you do, and I can help if you want. It is a good joy. Okay? Good. So now the second part, which I will share with you my view. And my view is based, as I said, on 20 years of studies. Since 1995, the first time we introduced. So we introduced a concept called strategic project leadership. And it came out of the realization in many, many studies, including my own experience, that there are 3 important elements for project success. Also 3. It's interesting. The strategy part of the business value is similar to what you call the impact. That's critical. And this has to be formal. It must become a formal way to manage a project. The leadership part is what I said, the people side, dealing with the team. And I call it the team spirit. Okay? And the last one, we started with the uncertainty, complexity, went to innovation, and now we're calling it the challenge. And I'll explain what I mean by challenge. Because if you've seen from my list earlier, projects fail because they don't address the challenge. The business may be okay, people may be okay, but the challenge is not understood, and if you don't make it part of your whole system and understanding the challenge and managing and planning to overcome the challenge, you fail. And it's more than risk management, as I said. Now, we have developed tools, and we only have 3 tools, using the concept of less is more. A tool for the business, a tool for the leadership, and a tool for the challenge. And I'll show you these tools briefly. And we have tried this already with many companies. This is a list of clients, past clients. We have many more now. And major corporations. And with high satisfaction, I can say it's working on small and large projects. And you see the similarity, how similar things are, and how things merge, and how we really address the same issues. A little different, but it doesn't matter. So, as I said, to work together for me is a great experience. And I want to go and describe these tools one by one. I will spend on the first 2 tools, the business and the leadership, very short. And the last one was the challenge. We titled this, How Innovation Can Make or Break Your Project. I'll spend a little longer. Okay, so we'll start with the plan. How do we address the whole thing? Look at this. This is the classical project phases. How do we fit all this new methodology inside? It's complicated. People get used to this. And I said, and you also said, we are not touching the traditional way. We are not. So I found a way, together with my teams, after a long elaboration, to say, we need another phase, believe it or not. We need to add a 5th phase in project management, and we call it strategic planning, before the planning. Okay? And that will prepare the project correctly for the delivery for the traditional way. By the way, I've shared these slides, and you can have access to these slides from Implement Consulting. I don't know how, my website, or you have a copy of the slides. Okay, so you don't need to take picture. Photograph me instead of pictures. So we're adding strategic planning to project management, believe it or not. And I'll show you what this plan is. And we have all the traditional ways. If it's a PMBOK, manage the traditional processes. And if it's a company process, same thing. Okay, and what is the strategy? Now you guess. We have the three tools there. The strategy, the adaptive to innovation and challenge, and the leadership spirit. Three tools. Okay? But look, this is not the whole picture. Let's not forget that in project management we are building a product. So there's a project life cycle, but there's also product life cycle. And you know what? It fits very nicely with the project life cycle. And here's the life cycle of the product. We're starting with an idea, a concept, requirements, when we do strategic planning, design, development, and delivery. And there's an interaction all the time. And you know how much time people spend on the product, on the design, on the testing. And in the books of project management, they don't talk about the product life cycle, product building life cycle. Okay? Good. So now let's go to the strategy. What is strategy? I want to start with a little story about the responsibility. And we look at it as a little different perspective. What's the responsibility of a project manager? I want to share with you a short story about two cars. In 1986, Ford Motor Company introduced Ford Taurus. That car was the best-selling car in America. Revolution. Why? Because the project manager took a long time to create focus groups with customers and create cross-functional teams and figure out exactly what the market needs to do. But when the project was completed, he was fired. You know why he was fired? Because the project was late 3 months on schedule. And then it became the best-selling car of America. In 1990, they lost this position to Toyota Camry. They started the second generation. The project manager of the second generation, Taurus 2, learned the lesson. You can guess. His lesson was what? Schedule. He met schedule. He drove the project as a dictator. He eliminated focus. He just needed to meet time. He met schedule, believe it or not. But never became the best-selling car in America. So what does it mean? What I'm saying is not new. All right? People know. Some people understand that projects are not made to do business. So I'm suggesting a little change in how we look at project management. So far, we looked at project management as an input, process, output. Output is a product. Okay? What will the product do in the market? What will it bring money? Will it make happy customers? We need to deal with this, not just deliver a product with a specification. And we're at the top of the pyramid. Again, we don't change anything that we do so far. The top of the pyramid says we are focusing on business and outcome, from output to outcome. That is the change. And that's the basis for the methodology that we call SPL. Outcome, that's important. What will happen? And when we manage a project, we're going to think about it, we're going to plan it, we're going to do things that will make sure that customers are using it and we make money. Okay? So, I want to introduce what we call the SPL way of managing project. We changed the paradigm in terms of the responsibility. I say we make the project manager or project leader responsible to be the business leader of the project and be responsible for the responsibility. They're still an owner, they're still a sponsor, they are accountable. The difference between responsibility and accountability is quite clear. If the project failed, if it loses money, the project manager doesn't pay the cost, the company pays. And if it succeeds, the project manager doesn't get the profits, but he's responsible. And that's the change. So we don't struggle with who is responsible. You know why? Because the project owner doesn't have time. The only person who is really involved in the project day in, day out is the project manager. And he or she gets up in the morning, thinks about the project, goes to sleep. It's his baby. And that's why we make him responsible. So we expand responsibility, and you know what? It's working. We have proven it's working, and we're giving them the tools to do that. That is the change. Okay? So I want to share with you a little story before I move on. In 2007, Motorola was working on the best cell phone in the market, Q phone. It was actually, in my university class, I used to do team exercises. Comes a team, they present the Motorola. Fantastic. But at that time, Steve Jobs already said, we are coming out with the iPhone in a few months. Okay? Good. So they finished the presentation. They did a great job. I asked them, fantastic job, nice presentation, nice project. But what are you going to do when iPhone is out? You know what they said? We didn't think of that. iPhone was out and Motorola was dead. Okay, so my argument is, if they had managed this project with the mindset of SPL or any other business-focused mindset, that will not happen. Because they will know, and the whole world knew that iPhone is coming. They just kept going. They did the specs that somebody wrote years ago. Okay, so that's the change. All right. So I want to introduce what is strategy. I like to do a discussion what is strategy, and people say strategy is a way to go from A to B, a plan, a vision. No. Strategy is only one thing. Where does strategy come from? Military, right? In the military, strategy means only one thing, winning. So I'm taking strategy to our world, and I say, in business, we also need to win. We need to win. Oh, who's the enemy? The competitors, right? So we need to win, that's all. So strategy, how to create the win. So it comes from the military, goes to sport, and everything is focused on winning. Your project has to win for your company. And that's why you need a clear tool that we call strategy. Okay? Strategy is critical for success, and strategy in business is creating competitive advantage. Because if I do this product, and my competitor is doing this product, it's not enough that my product is meeting requirements. It has to be better. Better means competitive advantage. Means your job as a project manager is to create competitive advantage. That's all. You don't need to deliver specification on time. That's obvious. You need to create better product. And on this, the whole shift, the whole project focus shift, the whole thinking shifts. So we have something called the project strategy. We focus the project on winning. And there's a document, I'll show you briefly what it is. It has 5 elements, which I will not describe in great lengths, but we focus on why will the customer buy, which is the competitive advantage. We have a map, but that's one tool. Okay, and at the end, we involve the team members. Everybody on the team thinks about what will create more value. It's like a Kaizen environment in project management, but not on quality, on competitive advantage. Okay? The next level is the leadership. The leadership part is the soft part. But I want to say something about leaders from my own experience, my own environment, my own observation. Leaders make things happen. People who are leaders create magic. And that's why where I am? Okay. That's why you got to learn to lead. It's very difficult to learn to lead. You cannot be a leader over time. But let's focus on the things that really make or change a project. Why you need to lead? Because great projects are done by great leaders, and most people can do twice as much. And as a leader, your job is to get the most with your people and out of your people. What drives people? What drives the team? And that is the key here. So I want to suggest a tool, believe it or not, a leadership tool. Okay? I want to deal with the team's culture. I can create the team's culture, the team's feeling in a little realistic way, in a little analytical way, believe it or not. It's possible. Okay? So, spirit is the tool. Spirit creates the energy, the pride, the excitement. And project spirit is something very unique because the project spirit is focused on something very specific, a vision statement that excites people. When we say we're going to put a man on the moon and bring him back in 10 years, the whole world was excited. In every project you do something new. Articulate the new world that you are creating in an emotional way that will touch people's heart. You understand? And that's what I mean by a vision. Okay? We have great examples. So, vision is a short description of the outcome. We can do a motto. I'll give you a few examples. I'll talk just one on the Free to Kiss here. They're all real projects. Free to Kiss comes from a project that was developing a vaccine for meningitis. Bad disease, no cure. If you get infected, you die in 24 hours if you don't get treatment. There's no cure. And this company is building a vaccine. Now, the vaccine is going to universities as the first customer, and you can get meningitis by body fluids like AIDS. So the project manager, a PhD in chemical biology, came out with this. He said, free to kiss. You understand? The project changes, the project looks different. The project gets a new life with a nice vision statement. Okay? So here are the 4 elements of the spirit. They are vision, they are values, they are symbols, and they are social activities. Okay? So here they are. The values is behavior. What the kind of behavior? And you guys are really into behavioral things. You want to emphasize the behavior in your project that fits your competitive advantage and your vision. If your project is about cost cutting, the values in your project is learn to cut costs. Everybody who finds a way is a hero. If your project pushes the technology, everybody who is innovative is a hero. Social activities, I don't need to tell you Danish people about social activities. Create more and more and more and more. It's not in every culture. And the last one is actually very nice, the symbolic part. The logos, the flags, the t-shirts, and project name. Names mean a lot. I have, in our studies, we even studied the impact of name on project success. We found a correlation. But it's not because the name makes a change, it's because the leader chooses a good name, it's part of leadership. Okay? All right. So, I want to share an example. This comes from a real project in the pharmaceutical industry. These people are building, excuse me, a cure for heart failure. They came up with mending broken hearts. That's the motto. The logo, you see, the shirts, and see how happy they are with the cake. Okay, so now I'm coming to the last element, and that is the innovation part and the challenge. And I'll spend a little more time on that. Okay, what's innovation? How do you define innovation? Many people say innovation is something new. I disagree. Not everything new is an innovation. Innovation is something new that really makes it. Innovation, to me, I define it as a commercialization of an idea. You have an idea, but it's not an innovation. Only if you make it work in the market, people buy it, use it, improve their life, then it's an innovation. With this mindset, believe it or not, you need a project. So, innovation and project management are strongly linked. Unfortunately, the research people have not combined them. We have 2 research communities, project managers and innovation. They don't talk to each other. Not the same conference, not the same journals. I go to both. But it is different worlds. We got to combine these worlds. We are working now in very hard. So SPL is combining these worlds. Now, if every project is actually an innovation, okay, we got to remember, one size does not fit all. Here's a picture. See these guys? It's the same suit. What do you need? You need a tailor. So you need to learn how to tailor your project management to your project. And that's a tough thing, because it's not intuitive. It's not just, let's think about it. How do we do it? Experienced people know it, but young people, it's difficult. So we need a framework, we need a model to do the tailoring part. And for this, I want to introduce the concept of challenge. What difference between project is the word challenge? Challenge is something difficult. It's not that we cannot solve it, we can, but we have difficulty. And this is a theoretical model that says challenge involves three parts. UCC, uncertainty, complexity, and constraint. Okay? At the beginning, we called it UCP. The constraint, we did pace, but pace is one of the constraints. So, we are taking this further. We say, okay, well, how do we do it in project management? Here's the model. We introduce a model that is called the diamond. We found a nice name. We call it the diamond of innovation. It's a really catchy name, but it's more than innovation, as I said. It's the challenge of diamond. And we have two dimensions of uncertainty, the novelty and the technology. I will define them in a moment. We have one complexity and we have one dimension of constraint. The major constraint is usually time, but we shouldn't forget that there are other constraints. Under the concept of simplicity, we didn't want to increase the model. And I keep getting, for years, this model has been around for, first time we published it in 1990. And then it evolved and it grew. And then our book came out in 2007 by Harvard, and the book is about the diamond, okay? So it's been around longer than SPL, it's been used by many people, it evolved, but I keep getting the same request. Look, we need more dimensions. And I hold on, I said, no, we don't need more dimensions. You know why? Because it'll be too complex. So if you have a specific situation, add another dimension for your situation. Don't confuse the model. And we keep it at 4, under the less is more idea. So the pace can be added, so we're just working with a huge project at Intel, and they have huge challenges. In Israel they work with the West Coast, 10 hours difference. That's a challenge. The project keeps changing because they work on a technology that is not developed yet. Customer is not known, and specifications are not known. Can you believe? $8 billion project. So they have a challenge that nobody has. So in addition to the 4 dimensions of the diamond, they have added other dimensions, other challenges, and that's good enough. So 4 works fine. Okay, so now let's define what's happening. Novelty is what we call the newness of the product in the market for customers. Do customers know what to do with this product? If I'm making a small change in this bottle, everybody will recognize that it is a bottle, a different shape, and everybody will know you got a drink from it. But if I'm introducing something that nobody saw before, a new product, doesn't matter the technology, by the way. It's new. It's new to the world, it's new to the customer. So we have a scale. Novelty is innovation in the market. And on each dimension, you can be sure we have 4 levels on each dimension. Okay? So, on the novelty, market innovation, we have derivative, which is a small change. Platform is the next generation in an existing product line. A new car is a platform, a new generation. A new cell phone today, you know, iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone whatever, is a new generation. But the first one is different. I'll show you how it works in phones. New to the market is a product that exists in one market and is adapted to another market. For example, the first PC was new to the market. There were computers in the world before, huge, big, expensive. When we first started to sell computers to consumers, it was new to the market. Recently, GPS. Where did GPS come from? Military. Military navigation systems. Now we adapted it for consumers. It was new to the market. Now it becomes platforms and derivatives. So there's a level, and new to the world is something that nobody saw before. The first Post-it note. Nobody wanted to buy it. The company wanted to kill the project because they did market research and customers say, I don't need this. Once you give it to them, they can't live without it. But that is the effect of new to the world. You cannot do market research. You see already the impact on project management. Don't do market research on the high level of novelty. The next level is technology. 4 levels: low tech, medium tech, high tech, super high tech. Low tech is a project that uses existing technology. Nothing new. Construction. Medium tech is a project that is using well-known technology, but some new design. A new car is medium tech. High tech is a project that is using a new technology, but existing technology. Military project. I developed the technology before that, and then I integrate this in the project for the first time. That's high tech. And super high tech is a project that needs technology that doesn't exist. Listen to this. I need to develop the technology during the project's effort. Going to the moon. There was no technology. The mission was very clear. The moon was there. Everybody knew where it is. And nobody knew how to do the technology. So they needed to develop the technology. It's a different project. Each one of them requires a different project. And coming to tailoring, because we need to tailor the project manager to the specific character, to the specific diamond. Now, complexity is another dimension. We found a way to conceptualize it again in a simple way, the level of complexity of the product. So there is a component, like this light bulb is a component. Assembly is doing one function. This laser pointer is an assembly. The overhead projector is an assembly doing one function. A system, complex collection of subsystems doing multiple functions. A car is a system, a building is a system, a computer is a system. And the array is a system of systems, collection of many systems working together for a common mission. Imagine the public transportation system in Copenhagen. Terrible, by the way. I get stuck in traffic every day here. But you have public transportation system. It involves buses and metros and stuff, and you got to do something about it. I think you know it, right? And there's silence, nobody reacts. Am I right or wrong? Huh? Okay, good. So, forgive me. It is a large collection of systems working together, like the traffic air control in a country. It involves radars and communication channels and center controls, largely working together. So that's an array. Look, the complexity goes up. Now it's the complexity of the product, and it's also the complexity of the organization that is doing the product. Okay? And the last one is pace. It is the constraint of pace. How much time do I have? And I have 4 levels again. Regular is no big deal, no pressure. Fast competitive is a project that needs to be in the market before competitors. Most projects are fast competitive. Time critical is a project that has a definite deadline. If you miss the deadline, the project fails. Y2K. Think about that. You have a deadline. But we have it every year, you know, Christmas season. You got to be in the stores before Black Friday. Opening the academic years. University has to be ready with all the systems working on a certain day. It's time critical. If you miss the deadline, no good. And the last level is what we call blitz. Blitz is a project that involves crisis. Something happened, you gotta respond right away. Again, look at these 4 types. Each one of them is a different kind of project. Now the question is, what do we tailor? I'm coming to this. But this creates the framework for classifying, finding your project uniqueness. Okay? So, I want to give a few examples of diamonds and how do we use them. Okay, Denver Airport. I mentioned it in the morning. It's a construction project that was late. It was late because of one system. The system was called the automatic baggage system. This system was new. Nobody did something like this before on such a large scale. And I used the diamond to explain the delay, because the project itself was construction. And as we know, construction is low-tech. But that project was high-tech. Okay, so here are 2 diamonds. The blue diamond is the airport. It was a platform, another generation. We've done airports before. It was fast competitive. It was low-tech technology, and it was an array. The airport is huge. But the baggage system was a different project. It was new to the market, really not done on that scale. It was fast competitive. It was a system, not an array, much smaller, but it was high-tech. The trouble is that this project was managed like the rest of the airport. It was part of the larger project. Nobody pays attention. Okay, another component. And the diamond is telling you a story. They even started this late after the construction started. They started the project much later, the baggage system much later, and it wasn't finished. So here's the diamond telling you, you got to do more work, and I'm going to talk about the implications of the diamond on project management. Okay? Here's another example. I introduced this in the morning. I'll use the Boeing case. Boeing 787 was late because of similar reasons. They used a new technology. They used composite materials to build the airframe instead of aluminum. So I'm showing 2 diamonds here. Okay, the blue diamond is 777, a very successful project. It's part of our study on the great projects. Fantastic project, fantastic product. And that was a platform, a new generation. It was medium tech because the technology was well known. It was a system, and fast competitive. But 787 had 2 new things, 2 new challenges. One of them was the technology was new, the composite materials, and the other one was they outsourced the design. Because they fired so many people during the downturn, they didn't have enough engineers to do the design. They had no choice. They outsourced to 700 subcontractors worldwide. Subcontractors, they used to do manufacturing, were required now to do design and development, R&D. They failed. This was a complete failure. It turned the project, the regular system project, into an array project. They had to bring all the work back, big chaos. We just published a paper, The Challenge of Innovation in Highly Complex Projects, and we analyzed this story. We have followed this story for years, and we came with a conclusion. They could do better. That's the point. They could do better if they had just analyzed up front the difficulty of the challenge. Okay? So, coming to our friend iPhone. I have here 3 generations. I have iPhone 1, iPhone 6, and iPhone 6S. All right? So, iPhone 1 is new to the market. It was high-tech. Technology was really new. It was fast competitive. Let's be there. And it was a system. Okay? iPhone 6 and iPhone 6S. iPhone 6 was the red one. It was a platform, a larger generation. It was medium tech, no longer high tech system, and time competitive because they said we're going to be in the market on that day. That was a definite deadline. And iPhone 6S is only a derivative. So you see how the diamond explains each project very clearly. The diamond is telling a story. You have visualization. in your system, which is fantastic. This visualizes your problem. And when the team goes into discussion on that, great teams have all of it, wow, I see it in a new way. Now I understand that my project is not medium tech, it's new to the market, it's not a platform, it's new to the market. And I don't need to do market research because the answer will be negative. So I guess, gosh, I gotta rush to market, create a prototype, let customers try it and give me feedback. Then I will freeze requirements. So this brings me to the impact. This is the regular waterfall that you well know. And these are the regular project phases. What's wrong with this picture? Something wrong with this picture. It's 4 simple phases. You know what's wrong? It's never one-way street. This is reality. Right? You got to go back, you got to revise your design, your requirements. The question is how much you got to go back and how many times. And that is determined by the dimensions of the diamond. Okay? So, instead of this, we're actually adding this. These are the cycles that we are adding. Okay? We keep going, both in the requirements and in the technology. And the question how much and how long is a very critical question for project planning. Planners need to know this. And if you put it in a plan, you know, I need 3 cycles. That happened in Boeing. They only planned 1 cycle. They had to open the design because it failed the tests. And they ended up with 3 to 4 cycles, you know, again and again. I could tell them this at the beginning, because based on the research, we know that high-tech needs 3 cycles at least. Okay? They didn't have it in the plan, so they kept overrunning. They fired project manager one after the other. Why? Let's figure out up front the challenge. Let's understand the challenge in an analytical way. Okay? So here's a summary of how the diamond dimensions impacts project management. Okay? The novelty has an impact on market research. As I mentioned, the higher novelty, less market research. Forget it. Don't even try. The trouble is that management always wants you to do market research. Give me a proof that the market wants it. And you got to push back. If you're at a high level of novelty, resist. Market research will not help. Okay, show them the model. And that is a proof that you got to adapt your project to your unique characteristic, the challenge. Okay, and then you need later requirement freeze, the two important moments in every project, requirements freeze and design freeze. These moments are part of your plan and you identify them up front during the plan. This is when we freeze requirement, this is when we freeze the design. First you freeze requirement, then you freeze design, based on the level of uncertainty in the market and in the technology. And you need more requirement cycles. The technology, same story. Later design freeze, more design cycles. You need strong technical functions in very, very high projects and high, you need managers and good technical people. It's rare, it's difficult to find, but that's what you need, And you need experienced technical project managers. The high tech and super high tech is very difficult because you don't know. Okay. And then complexity, the organization becomes more complex. You got to put systems in place. You got to be bureaucratized. Although you don't like, you want people for systems. I said it before, you need systems for small projects. You don't need systems. For high projects you need, and you got a ability to integrate all the subcomponents. You need good formality, good organizational skills, and big picture leader. Okay, so. I want to map what we are doing right now in a map that shows where we are standing. We are adding SPL to the traditional project management. Everything on the bottom exists today, scoping, scheduling, and we have the tools. So we talk about mindset, skill set, and tool set. And for creating the business value, we are adding 3 new tools. The skills are skills of tailoring, inspiring, and strategizing. skills. And we have the 3 tools coming with that, which is the diamond of innovation for tailoring, the spirit of leadership, and the project strategy. Okay, once again, these are customers. And finally, we have shown success. Our customers have provided us with written statements about success. One company, actually I can say the name, the train company is doing commercial air conditioning. They have increased market share by 50%. We have a letter. After 7 years working with them. After 5 years, we've been working with them 7 years. And then last year they gave us a new letter. They're so excited, they're still alive. We don't work with them anymore. But they got used to the concept and they're still alive and they keep being the market leader. Service provider increased, name is confidential, they increased the sales from 100 million to 1 billion in 10 years, and the stock from 100 to 2,100. We implemented it in the government, city government. It became the best city in my state in New Jersey. A pharma compliance project that they have started with a small project of 100 hours. Because of the method, they increased the order for 320 hours. And our new existing customers are Intel, Merck, Marvell, and some others. So, I want to say something again, coming back to half double. For me, half double is a fantastic step. No question about it. So there's no competition here, by the way. I don't see it as a competition. I think, honestly, that in the half double, we need to expand the challenge part. And I think we need to expand the flow part. So here's what we do. We use the diamond to express our system. It's the SPL diamond. We have the traditional project management plan. We have the business strategy, the leadership, and the innovation. And that's where we are today. And I'm looking forward to really helping the project and working on this together because it's the same world. It's not a competitive, in our world there's no much competition because it's so huge. Okay, so the synergy, the collaboration is clearly important. Here's my email address if you want to call me or send me an email. I will be happy. I'll stay here if you want to talk to me. Okay.